Dire 5, da me c'era già il go.
Oh, va bene.
Va bene.
Allora
Da me
andiamo.
c'era già il go.
Lei non è condizione.
Va bene.
Allora andiamo.
Forse sono un po' alti i
C'è
volumi.
un problema di audio, sento doppio.
Mm.
Mm?
Ti senti doppio?
Non più. Oh, chissà perché. Gli audio come sono? Hai detto alti, bassi, medi? Un
Un po' alti.
po' alti? Si abbassa un pochino.
Basta a noi più che a te.
Ok. Adesso?
Alla?
Per un po' allora. Se no
Va bene,
urlo
direi.
io. Comunque,
Buonasera.
buonasera a tutti. Come avete visto, ci sono stati parecchi problemi tecnici perché state vedendo la mia bella faccina che sta chiedendo degli audio invece che tipo diverse persone che giocano a Valraven in maniera molto più seria. Quindi, bando alle ciance, parliamo di cosa portiamo stasera. Stasera io porto un gioco che ho sempre voluto fare, però per un motivo o per l'altro non l'ho mai fatto. E ho scoperto mesi fa che è uscita la versione deluxe, tutta fighetta, con la grafica tutta fancy e tutto quanto. Quindi ho pensato, bene, abbiamo un'oretta prima dell'orario di live, è saltata la live di stasera, ma sì, giochiamo a Stanley Parable. Io avverto che non ci ho mai giocato prima, se non tipo 2 minuti, nella versione precedente. Non so una cispa, quindi sarà davvero una reazione abbastanza naturale, si spera. E salutiamo anche Thomas. Allo? E quindi bene, abbiamo con noi anche la Viola e Saulo,
Ciao.
tipo qua. Dovresti vederlo. Questa direzione. E quindi passiamo al gioco. Qua. Bene, non so se si usa il controller o il mouse, ma proviamo a fare le bestie di Satana e utilizzare il mouse per ora.
Sincero.
Bene. Inglese, italiano?
Facciamo inglese, dai.
È solo
Facciamo
la lingua
persone
del
fancy?
testo?
Meglio.
Facciamo un po' i British stasera.
Sì, allora.
Io farei
Confermo.
l'italiano.
Diciamo di no. Più di 2 minuti no, quindi no. The computer is barely visible. Bene. Conferma. Che cazzo di ore sono? 9:33.
Puntuali.
C'è sempre questa citazione prima di partire con un gioco nuovo. Ok. Wow.
Ultra deluxe. Mi sa un po' di Uncanny Valley così.
The end is loading.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
Benvenuto.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Adesso ringrazio per bene. Grazie per il follow, benvenuto tra gli introversi. Allora.
Benvenuto.
Benvenuto. Ok. Wow. I have a chair and a computer. Wow. Per muovermi? Ok. I hate Mondays, I guess. Magari metto in italiano così non c'è il problema del... Non ci sono problemi per le persone che guardano. Allora. Bene.
Scusate, era pronto il caffè.
Quindi non avevamo mai lasciato il nostro cubicle. Nostra celletta, come si dice, ufficino.
Ufficio,
All of his
ufficio.
co-workers were gone. What
Ah!
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
yes.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ah! Posso riaprire la porta? Oh Gesù. Meeting room. Bene.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Gente. Nobody.
Che brutta questa cosa dello schermo bianco fuori dalla finestra. Non mi piace. Proprio zero.
C'è un po' di luce, mi sa.
Sì.
Oppure
Io
una
sto
parete
facendo
bianca.
di là.
Vabbè, dai, partiamo bene, siamo già morti. Chi ha lasciato dei fogli per
Non
terra?
dobbiamo neanche avere paura di morire, siamo già morti.
Ragazzi, chi ha lasciato dei fogli per terra?
Maleducati.
Non ha neanche salvato il documento.
Salve.
Dorime,
Dorime.
ad appare Dorime. Ogni volta che mi chiamano i capi in ufficio, uno dei due parte con il suono di questa di sottofondo quando mi vede arrivare.
4.
As they should.
Esatto.
Come
va, ragazze?
qua per ora bene. Mi sto chiedendo dove sono finiti tutti i miei colleghi.
Ah,
Sono scomparsi.
provato-
Non fanno neanche una raccolta differenziata.
hai provato nella sala mensa?
Ci stiamo andando. Devo trovarla.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No, non mi puoi dire questo. Non mi puoi dire questo. Non mi puoi dire questo. Non mi puoi dire che vado a sinistra. No, non me lo puoi dire. Non me lo puoi dire.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge
Stanley andò a
first,
destra.
just to admire it.
E Stanley andò a destra. Bravissimo.
Non mi puoi dire Stanley va a sinistra e poi...
Aspettarti veramente.
Aspettarti che io vada a sinistra. E c'è sempre il terrore che passi qualcuno, tipo, in una di queste cose.
Sì, succederà.
Io ho il problema dei jumpscare, ok? Io lo dico subito, io mi cagherò in mano. con i jumpscare.
Ah, yes,
Io
truly a
penso che sia
room worth
normalissimo che
admiring.
tu
It
faccia.
had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here,
Aspetta che apro la
drinking
live
it
che
all
non l'ho
in.
ancora aperta, che ho appena acceso il PK.
Il PUC. Chi è che lascia i documenti in giro?
È un
Ragazzi,
ufficio.
Yes,
Fede, è un
really,
ufficio.
really worth it being
per
here in a room.
terra.
A room
È un
so
ufficio
utterly
di gente molto
captivating
stupida e
that even
sbadata, va
though
bene.
all your
2,20 €
co-workers
per
have
un drink,
mysteriously
ma sei
vanished,
Senti, in
here you
ufficio da
sit
me
looking
volano
at
le
these
palline di gomma
chairs and
piuma
some
in testa alla
paintings.
gente, non mi
Really
meraviglio più di
worth it.
nulla.
C'è il narratore che mi sta perculando fortemente comunque. Senta, si
At
fa.
this point, Stanley's
Comunque è
obsession
pieno
with
di
this room
soddisfazione
bordered on
lavorare in quel
creepy
posto.
and reflected
Adoro.
poorly on his overall
Devo fare
personality.
io.
It's possible that this
A
is
voi
why
come sta
everyone
andando la
left.
vita?
Bene. Di
Adesso
cosa?
mi siedo.
State vivendo la vita loca?
Vita
Stanley sat
stanchi
around
stiamo
waiting for more
vivendo.
dialogue. When a long time had
Stessa
passed
cosa.
and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
No, un posto così accogliente, mi sento così a casa.
Io sto aspettando davvero altri messaggi.
Non gradino. È tipo un conversation, Pete. Cos'è?
Ok. Fa? Fuel. Pensavo fosse una parolaccia. Are you satisfied? Sto uscendo.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room
Yes,
and
we
took
are.
the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Dimmi che arriva, quando arrivi all'Adventure Line. Dimmelo che voglio ridere.
La prima porta a sinistra.
Mm.
È tanto sexy quell'altra porta in fondo.
Mi piace quella luce, non mi piace nulla, mi piace proprio niente.
Stanley was so bad at following directions,
Caution,
it's
do not
incredible it
lie,
wasn't 5
scusami.
years ago.
Buonasera. Ci sono... Oh, ho sentito la mia voce.
Who is talking?
I'm going to die right here. Vero? Ci sono tanti pacchi. Adoro come non saltare dal cargo lift mentre si sta muovendo, perché causerà morte. Penalty per misuse del cargo lift, 1000 dollari. Penalità per saltare giù dal cargo lift e quindi morire, 5000 dollari.
They don't fuck me, pay.
I mean, li pagherà mia nonna, non lo so, che vuoi che...
I tuoi familiari.
Look, Stanley,
L'assicurazione
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the
funziona
wrong
molto
foot
strano nel
here.
mondo di Stanley
I'm not your
Parable.
enemy, really, I'm not.
Io non voglio
I
morire
realize
però.
that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Who the fuck is her? Lo sta
This
chiedendo
is
per
it,
lei.
Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back
Okay.
into your life. She's been waiting.
Chi dovrebbe essere? Che sta aspettando?
Ti dobbiamo salvare, dai.
È chiuso! Mi mette un'ansia quando le porte si chiudono. Questa parte è un po' scura.
È una tua... Sono dei gesti per terra. No, sono sigarette.
Sigarette. I'm pretty sure they are sigarette.
Io.
Oh no.
That's her, Stanley.
Yeah. No.
You need to be the one to do this.
No.
To reach out to
E
her.
lei
If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
What the fuck?
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited once...
Rispondi al
Wait.
telefono.
Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
Sì.
No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world.
Aiuto.
Please observe this helpful instructional video.
adeguatamente sulla sicurezza dei processi.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person.
Oddio
But if
mio.
used incorrectly, can
Che
also
ha
be the
cioè
most
la
dangerous.
scelta.
For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which
Sì.
choice would you make?
La
Remember
seconda.
that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction.
Che
But not
cazzo?
to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good
Che
decision-making,
cazzo?
we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Che cazzo?
Bruttissimo.
Sto rompendo il gioco. Adoro.
Stanley sta facendo la girl boss.
I girl bossed a bit too close to the sun. Where am I? Ok, non posso tornare indietro.
C'è un'altra porta lì a fianco?
Ma non so se posso entrare. Se mi butto giù succede qualcosa? Ah no, hanno messo i cosi.
Ah!
I cosi.
Le parmi sono...
Come cazzo, non so come si chiama. Il recinto. Recintino, il
Si chiama
parapetto.
ringhiera.
La ringhiera. Io devo salire qua?
I guess.
E
Now
l'hanno
that we know your
chiuso?
choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story.
Mi
That story
scusi!
would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
How do I get out? Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop.
Ok. Grazie per l'indicazione. Adesso non mentirò mai più.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Vediamo se aspetto qua ancora. Se succede qualcosa.
Drinks. A che punto si è fermato? A che ora si è fermato l'orologio?
Ah, penso che sia le 11.
Ah, non è fermo, ok. Pensavo fosse fermo. Immagini Stanley muore alle 11.
Yeah. Vabbè, mi sa che devo andare. Buonasera.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
No, mi piace rompere il gioco. Wow. Cioè, clippato malissimo stasera. Dovrebbe essere un codice questo. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, punto interrogativo, 4, 5, 6, B4, 5, 6, B4, 5, 6.
Perché me lo segno?
No, no, è tutto girato, non penso sia qualcosa.
Oddio.
Comunque bella la
È realista.
Art Nouveau. No, non mi dice nient'altro.
Ok, quindi dovevi andare a destra per forza.
Sì, a sinistra.
A sinistra, scusa. Se non fosse andato...
Però sì, intanto potrei aver distrutto un po' il gioco.
It's ruined. I can't believe after everything we talked about that you... My story...
È il gruppo degli alcolisti anonimi più assurdo di sempre,
Why? For
bellissimo.
what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the
Cosa
game
ci hai
undone?
guadagnato?
Left here like so much garbage. It's
Mind your
worthless now.
fucking business.
And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to. I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see?
To see.
Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley?
Ma
He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it.
mi hai detto
That
tu che non
thought
sono
hadn't even
Stanley.
occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you?
No,
You're a
mai.
child.
Sì.
Oh, my story.
Boh.
If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been
Blah, blah,
victorious.
blah, blah.
It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the
Fede, è la
story
prima volta che
first.
ci giochi.
I'm quite
Sì.
sure you'll be up to the
Questo
task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ho giocato tipo 2 minuti in croce quello... il gioco originale. Ma 2 minuti in croce, nel senso l'ho chiuso abbastanza in fretta e non ci ho mai più rigiocato. Quindi sì, effettivamente è la prima volta che faccio sta roba. Poi non so se... Ma adesso sono curiosa però.
Sto gioco è famoso per essere...
Sono curiosa se continuo a rompergli le scatole. Voglio vedere se cambia qualcosa.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry
Adesso
back.
esce dalla quarta
Always behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
Ok, io non sono
When
collaborativa,
Stanley
lo
came
sapete
to a
anche
set
voi.
of 2 open doors,
Non
he
so.
entered the
l'avrei
door on
mai
his
detto.
left.
Non ce ne eravamo accorti.
Ok, visto che mi ha già teletrasportato di là, immagino abbia già finito, ma controlliamo un'ultima volta.
No, adesso ti mena davvero.
Ok.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
It's surrealism time. Perché l'hai fatto?
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure
bene,
you'll be
va
up to the
bene.
task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2
Stop
open doors,
gaslighting.
he entered the door on his left.
Madonna. Va bene, va bene, va bene. Sei soddisfatto? Ok. Ah. Do not alter without consulting whiteboard manager. Adesso non c'è più l'incontro degli alcolisti anonimi.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
È una simulazione, sì, ma almeno.
You slide a slick blue graphic in the header.
Yes, adesso sì che non ho l'ansia.
No, non ironicamente voglio vedere charts l'intera
Charts of slide.
No, allora Fillo, in teoria mi ha chiesto l'inizio se ci ho mai giocato meno. Quindi non è... Io ho detto di no. Please no more charts begging me. Quindi probabilmente non mi fa cose nuove prima della prima. Prima delle cose originali. Why did we add you? A bot. Less hair. Quali sono i tuoi sogni per il futuro? Meno aria. Comatose.
Football pollution. Talk less.
Tips for not getting fired. Don't get fired.
Unbelievable amazing work all the time.
Direi che qua siamo a posto. Ho imparato tante cose. Oh! Ah. Broom closet. Avevo sentito che c'era un broom closet da qualche parte negli achievement, però non so come funziona, quindi... C'è una scala!
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Perché è sbarrato? Non è normale sta roba.
Ah, oi?
Com'è?
Puoi saltare?
No, non penso.
Allora,
Dovrebbe essere un walking simulator sto gioco, praticamente.
Infatti stai camminando.
E rompendo le scatole al narratore. Oh! Oh!
ok. Sto cambio di scenario.
C'è qualcosa in mezzo alla porta.
Un altro pomello?
No, che sparisce quando mi avvicino. Boh.
Boh.
Signor capo,
Sir?
le pagine beige. Mi scusi? Oh. Figo sto posto, però. C'è un panda con un... Cosa?
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions.
Ah, yes.
And beyond all
C'è
probability,
scritto?
he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Ho già dimenticato quale fosse. C'era uno squalo, però.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall. I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did
Please?
you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Blah blah.
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You... When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me?
Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It can't
Close,
exist
close,
without
close.
you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it.
Il narratore comunque è GG. Ottimo lavoro.
Are you there? You listening to this? Stanley, are you there?
Il narratore quanto l'avranno pagato per fargli dire tutte quelle cagate.
Okay, I can wait. You need time to
E lo
decide.
dico,
Sorry l'eroe.
Time to make sure your choice is correct.
e lo dico
That
con
is the best
stima.
choice.
Ma immagino appunto che abbia un sacco di lines.
To decide what's the right thing to do.
La prima versione è una mod di Half-Life 2.
Take
No,
as
che
much
tutti i
time
giochi
as you need.
tutti i giochi fatti col Source Engine sono una mod di Half-Life 2, Fillo.
Oh. Cioè abbiamo ricominciato quindi.
Sì.
Quindi devo fare il bravo bimbo e collaborare sto giro, no?
Provaci se ci riesci.
No.
Allora,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
ne faremo ce ne
Stanley
faremo una
decided to
ragione.
go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
La chat si legge poco comunque.
Sì, è abbastanza... diciamo che non...
E beh, quella che aveva fatto Fillo.
Allora è colpa di Fillo.
Già. Decisamente
Fillo
colpa sua. Allora, una cosa che posso fare è farne un'altra. 18. Allora, chat box. Add source.
Ha senso avere uno sfondo effettivamente con questo, eh.
Add new source. Chat box. Stanley. Add source.
Parablè.
Ora, per evitare confusione, lo dico in live, però senza il doppio audio aiuto.
Ok.
Allora, hai pensato per uno sfondo la chat, quella lì?
Ok.
Però
L'hai scritto.
Lo puoi mettere in fast mettendo sì, ok, o sì, che non so se...
Ma non voglio mettere uno sfondo, Fillo.
Quindi puoi togliere lo stile e ti rimette... Se tu vai
Stanley stood for a long time in one spot. It's part of a game. He likes to see how long he can go without dying. So far, he's doing excellent. And if he
Appunto.
just stays right where he is, I'm sure he'll keep up that good momentum. Let's observe the genius at work.
Qualcuno prova a scrivere qualcosa?
Comunque se sei tolto lo stile dovrebbe esserci pallini. Sì,
No.
esatto.
La faccio un pochino più grande allora.
Canguro.
Quindi 4.
Comunque se la chat di ieri sarebbe pensata che oddio, in realtà sai che potrei includere lo sfondo nel coso. Effettivamente. Cioè nel senso, nello stile, ecco.
Ok.
Potrei mettere tipo la chat, quell'altra di prima, potrei farci tipo lo sfondo giallo ai messaggi, così rimane comunque la roba lì dello stile senza dover mettere un elemento in più per farlo funzionare.
Sì.
Perché sì, ammetto che non è esattamente comodo se devi stare a mettere in più un layer di OBS per farla leggibile, ecco.
Già. Bene.
Anche se ci sono abituato perché ce l'ho già lì da 200.000 eoni.
Username access.
Ci ho detto vi risaluto che vado a fare la doccia, poi dopo dovrei rimanere più definitiva perché questo gioco mi piace. E sì, hai fatto l'unico finale con i titoli di coda. Non che voglia dire che è il vero finale perché, sì, insomma, è il gioco, è comunque questo gioco, però... Sì.
Input received.
GG.
Oh, ho spento.
Vi saluto dopo.
Ciao. Spento. Ho spento il computer. Non so cosa scrivere. Non riesco a interagire.
Sulla... Prova il numero del cubicolo.
Ma non penso che... Già provato quello.
Allora
Oh.
niente.
Ho provato a mettere dei numeri e delle altre lettere, ma l'unica cosa che prende sono il tastino.
Allora niente.
Allora non lo so.
Più avanti. Sui documenti
When
c'è scritto
Stanley came to a
qualcosa.
set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Tipo, aiutatemi per favore.
Cosa?
Giuro che se è un lorem ipsum gigante sarebbe molto più divertente. Lorem ipsum.
Chi sta bene, sono andata a
Yet there was
sinistra.
not a single person here either.
Ok,
Feeling a wave
ok.
of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Si è aperto? Non pensavo.
The broom
Stanley stepped into the
closet.
broom closet, but there was nothing
Broom.
here, so he turned around and got back on
Cosa
track.
c'è?
There was nothing
Not
here.
very sure.
No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Ma il fatto che stia dicendo qualcosa mi dà una ragione per rimanere qua.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting
Gli
in the
oggetti
broom
non puoi
closet.
interagire con gli
He wasn't
oggetti.
even doing
No.
anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing
Sai che
sweet
allora non c'è nulla
FA.
da fare.
Io... Intanto bevo il
Are
mio
you
tè.
really still in the broom
Madonna che
closet?
attacca brighe.
Standing around doing nothing?
Mi prendo il miele.
Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Come va la vita a voi
Maybe to
ragazzi?
you, this is
Intanto.
somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite."
Un'altra
I
mascherina.
hope your friends find this concerning.
No, non c'era assolutamente niente.
Stanley was fat and ugly and
Sta
really, really
continuando.
stupid.
Sì.
He probably only got
Che
the
mi si è
job because
sgranato
of a family
tantissimo, non lo
connection.
vedo
That's
più.
how stupid he is. That or with drug money.
Drug
Also, Stanley's
money?
addicted to drugs and hookers.
What? Signor Twitch, ci disconosciamo da quello che dice.
Cosa ha detto? Non si può ripetere?
No, che ha una vita importante. Ha una vita
when a physical
movimentata.
malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard.
Sì.
Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose.
Ok.
Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby?
Sono una
The
persona
person at this
importante
computer is
io.
dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Che ore sono? Le 22:14, come fate a bere il caffè a quest'ora? Senza il rischio di farvi venire il...
Caffè? Sta bevendo viola?
Sì, ha detto che va a prendersene un altro.
Adesso io mi sa che sto un po' qua finché non vedo che non ci sono più dialoghi, sarò onesta. Chiederei a Fillo se c'è una continuazione, ma per un po' fisseremo il vuoto. Bravo a non rispondere. Ma voi l'avete giocato questo gioco?
Io no, però avevo intenzione prima o poi.
Ah, non l'hai neanche fatto te, Fillo, pensavo ci avessi giocato. Ok, direi che aspettare non mi dà altre cose in particolari, quindi usciamo da qua, dai.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Mi scusi.
Fa troppo ridere.
Are we ready? Dai, andiamo.
Already.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh no! C'è il downstairs. Facciamo una votazione. Facciamo una votazione. Volete andare su o volete andare giù?
Ma dove cazzo di fare, Fede? Piace come risposta? Perché tanto so che se io dico qualcosa...
Non è vero, perché io solo sto chiedendo un consiglio. E poi ovviamente farò come mi pare, però intanto è un consiglio, non è un ordine. Trovo un fungo, ma in che senso? Ma sì, andiamo giù. Diamo fastidio al narratore. Fire hose.
Dio.
C'è un foglio. Fire hose.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Guarda, io
Why did
in
doors
ufficio
close
sono seduto
automatically
di fronte
behind him
a
wherever he
un
went?
amico, ogni
And for
tanto,
that matter, these rooms were starting to
non
look
so per
pretty
qualche
familiar.
motivo, lui
Were they
alza lo
simply
sguardo sopra lo
repeating?
schermo e fa
No, Stanley
un
said to
gesto
himself,
con
this is all
come tipo
too
pistola,
strange, this can't
così
be
a
real.
caso. E
But
allora
at
ogni volta che
last,
lo fa
he
io
came to
dico
the conclusion
no.
that had been on the tip of his tongue.
E
He
praticamente
just
stiamo
hadn't found the
andiamo a
words for it.
citazione avanti,
I'm
citazioni di dalle mostre di chip
dreaming!
per qualche
He
motivo.
yelled. This is all a dream.
Non ce n'è
What
non
a
siamo
relief
normali per
Stanley
niente in
felt to
quell'ufficio,
have
non c'è
finally
nessuno
found
di
an answer,
normale.
an explanation. His co-workers
Immagini
weren't
che noi.
actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
No, Stanley, però è bello che tu ci creda.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Che come?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
Che è successo?
She rose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control.
Non Marinella che ha una voce narrante nella sua testa. Assolutamente Marinella è una normalissima persona.
It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Yeah. Ah, questo non lo sapevo.
È un loop sto gioco.
Se andavi avanti per le stanze dopo l'automobile, dopo un po' loopavano. Per questo dice in mezzo al delirio quelle stanze gli sembrano familiari. Io pensavo solo agli uffici, perché... Ma è così divertente pigiare tasti?
Sì.
All of his co-workers were gone, What could
pigia
it
i testi
mean?
da un lavoro.
Stanley decided to
da
go to the
casa,
meeting
sì.
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a
Scusa,
trace
non
of his
c'era un computer
co-workers.
qua?
Sì, c'era. Magari
Ehm,
era quello di Stanley.
no, quello di Stanley era nel 472. 427, sorry. Oh! Ah, forse in ogni volta c'è un computer diverso che devo cliccare. Penso. Adesso li spengo tutti. Perché si consuma energia, non va bene.
Adesso siamo Mariella.
No, no, siamo tornati a Stanley.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Perché gli sta così tanto sul cavolo? Quella
Coming
stanza.
to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs
Secondo me
to
se vai
his
avanti
boss's
tra un po'
office.
si sblocca qualcosa.
Comunque che trip sto gioco. Mi piace.
Bellissimo, mi sta piacendo un botto.
Anche a me.
Tra l'altro, se non sbaglio, è anche relativamente...
Prima non c'era questa scritta.
Quale?
O c'era? Io non mi
Siete-
ricordo.
No, ricordo. Vabbè, probabilmente non stavo neanche guardando.
Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp.
Lana Del Rey è stata qui. Money is the reason we exist. Everybody knows it is a fact.
Why is there a bathroom now?
Devi scegliere uno specchio più carino, eh.
Non posso entrare quindi.
Musica da scendore. I gather, yes.
Stanno cantando Stanley. Ho sentito la parola Stanley, giuro. Quanto dura? Sono sempre qua. Beh. Business strategy. Sparare i koala. Yes.
Valid.
Non posso spegnere il computer qua.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
Non
What
era
he
così la
could not have
stanza.
known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
2845.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ma non era comunque così la stanza prima. Sono confusa.
Credo che il punto del gioco sia proprio quello. Confondere.
Um,
Non puoi negarlo, eh.
sì, sono confusa. Link Plus. È il DLC di Zelda. Stavo morendo. Ma io non ho premuto quel pulsante.
Che pulsante?
Io ho premuto sopra, ma mi manda
Descending deeper
sotto.
into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Gesù Cristo. What the fuck?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh no!
Oddio.
Ah sì, questo è il primo finale.
Quale è il finale? Destro o sinistro?
Destra.
La storia principale è a sinistra, quindi immagino. Nessuna risposta. Andiamo a vedere.
Of course. Non era una domanda, era un'affermazione. Andiamo a vedere.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Oh!
What horrible secret did this place hold? He thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Grande pulsante. Non è rosso, peccato.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
427 o 47? Cos'era? 427.
427.
427. Allora. Questo qua. Oddio, è vero, effettivamente è il suo coso.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Conta che prima era la run speciale di quel finale, aveva cambiato anche le scale. Quale?
No, he refused to believe it.
Non ho
He
capito.
couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
How the fuck am I supposed to do that? Devo passare lì in mezzo? No. Qua in fondo, I guess. E ho confuso un attimo il layout della stanza. Però aspetta, c'è un altro... Cosa c'è lì? Ci sono delle scale. Non posso entrare. Cinque.
Sank.
Mind control idle.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Cioè, il narratore vuole che lo spenga.
Sì. Spegnilo.
Però non voglio che sia acceso. Quindi non mi va di disobbedire sto giro. Spegniamo. Si è spento.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, Even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness.
Wow.
Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin.
Quindi
The
posso
feeling
uscire?
of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Ok, però ha preso il controllo della telecamera per qualche secondo. Cosa non... Beat the game? Wow.
Volendo tu puoi andare avanti
All of
per
his
delle ore
co-workers
però
were
su sto
gone.
gioco, quindi...
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No
Non so
matter how
quanti
hard
finali avrei
Stanley
già
looked,
visto.
he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Oddio, per adesso 3, penso.
Sì, sono 3. Perché hai fatto quello dove hai disobbedito la prima volta, e poi questo,
E poi ce n'era un altro. Quello che si è impazzito si è ucciso. Tipo.
sì.
Ok. Non c'è il computer quello dell'input?
Prova a cercarlo in giro, perché l'ultima volta avevi detto che si era quella che
When
avevi
Stanley
spostato.
came to a set of 2 open doors,
Certo.
he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Bro. Bro, non ci credo. Bro. No, adoro.
Il narratore ha detto veramente fuck you and the broom.
Adoro. Ok, giù ci siamo
Coming to
già
a
stati.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Qua il bagno è sempre quello. Ah, eccolo. Awaiting input. Input received.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
E qua torniamo giù. Ecco, non ho capito perché... Aspetta, se ripreso su...
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out. Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Sono felice che sia proud.
Sembrava anche un po' sarcastico.
Non cambia niente. No, non me la fa neanche rimettere. Non mi fa nemmeno uscire. Dovrò tornare indietro.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen,
Madonna.
how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Due scatole. Che fastidio al narratore. Adesso fanculo, torno su.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No.
Posso consigliare un altro gioco dello
It's
stesso
time once
creatore
again
di questo
to go
gioco
back
qua.
up in the elevator.
Si chiama
I
Welcome
can't even
to the
begin to
Games.
grapple with what
Aspetta,
might be up
aspetta
there.
che-
Is it the boss's
Forse
office
è troppo
again?
alto qua.
Or what
No,
if it's
the
the
beginner
boss's
guide
office
si
this
chiama,
time?
beginner
The suspense
guide.
is killing me.
Ma che non ti sento se parli. Questo aspettavo che finisse di parlare. Hai detto che si chiama?
The Beginner Guide. È la storia di questo sviluppatore che praticamente cerca di capire perché un suo amico sviluppa i giochi nel
Oh
modo
my
in cui li
God.
sviluppa.
It's the
E
boss's office.
è una roba strana, è molto onirico, molto
This absolutely
particolare.
changes everything
Consiglio.
for me. Give me a time out
Molto
here for a
carino.
minute while I process this.
Proprio dallo stesso creatore, proprio. Tra l'altro.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No! No, wait! No! I need more time to process. All right. I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my
Adoro.
worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
Adoro.
Master Stan.
Of course. Going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
A breath of fresh
Cioè, a me dispiace fare perdere tempo a voi altri, però io...
Oddio.
O forse sono finiti i dialoghi.
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow? There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises? To have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal. This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit
Perché
in
lo
the
sto
face of
facendo?
tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why, though I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better.
Adoro! Amo?
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here.
No, ma io potevo continuare a farlo. Live on stage. How we did it. The pyramids. The guy who went to Mars.
Ridere.
World
Wow,
Peace,
he
baby.
did. Sei un role model per tutti noi.
Live on space
Yes,
stage.
here it is, just through this door.
The man, the process, the myth, the legend, the parable. Perché c'è un muro?
Stanley Parable. Dio santo.
World's first sentient machine. Doing great, una conversazione con Alessandro il Grande. To stage.
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
Ah, la sua faccia. Up again, down again. I love the way you ride the elevator. Thanks for showing me the cool skateboard trick in the parking lot. You are too cool. Good luck on stage, rock on. Stanley, my true love for you grows every day. You make me feel alive. Your wife from the apartment ending. The one tells stories the way you do. We're getting tiger. Oh. Remember where you came from. No, pure il golf. Adoro. Oh, bella la carta da parati che sembra degli occhi. You're in crisi. Ancora?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Non me lo fa fare?
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Quindi questo qua dello stage era un finale?
Sì. Cioè,
Ok.
oppure era un finale breve, non lo so. Oh.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere.
Quanto è?
Could
Qual
he
era
really
pure?
be all alone? This was too much for
2,
Stanley to take.
8,
Too
4,
much for any man
5.
to take. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
No.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Fammi andare avanti.
Ah, non c'è più il quadro.
Ah, boh.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Chissà che succedeva se decidevi di tornare giù dopo.
Ti picchiava sangue.
Ah sì, sì, ti ho preparato tutto questo...
Dove cazzo
il
vai?
discorso. Dove? Perché stai andando giù?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
Fuck
Control
you.
Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
No.
Nope, still on board with death.
Still on board with that.
Allora, me la doccia la faccio domani, ma non entro perché voglio sentire l'audio del gioco.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Ah, c'è un buco. Vabbè, è stato un piacere conoscervi.
Slay.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
Mi
In a
scusi?
single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Perché c'era un altro narratore. Stai sentendo l'audio anche del live?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before
Io sto
Stanley
sentendo
would
l'audio della
restart
live.
the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
What the fuck? Dipinti naturalistici. Computer di Stanley. Disposizione degli uffici. Bello che tutte le scritte fino ad ora erano in inglese, a parte questa qua in italiano adesso. Ma sì, effettivamente sono gli uffici questi. Poi, qua dice, corridoio. Il ritmo di questa sezione di apertura doveva essere preciso. Questo corridoio è stato spostato e modificato per fare in modo che il giocatore arrivasse alle due porte al momento giusto. Ha specificato proprio il giocatore. Suoni del pulsante. Una selezione dei suoni usati nel gioco quando vengono premuti dei pulsanti. Ogni suono è un mix tra il battito di un tasto sulla tastiera e un tono sintetizzato.
È proprio il developing.
Credo che sia una specie di bastardizzazione di come funziona veramente.
Computer da ufficio.
È uscito Salo, mi sa.
Oh, che perché? Che è
Beh,
successo? Ok, c'ho una porta a destra e una porta a sinistra. L'ufficio. Sala manutenzione. Una prima versione della sala manutenzione. Annunci extra deluxe. Oddio, è vero. Che l'avevano annunciato tipo secoli fa. Zona di guerra. All'inizio dello sviluppo progettammo un finale in cui Stanley sarebbe finito in un campo di battaglia a combattere gli alieni. L'action game sarebbe diventato senziente e avrebbe dichiarato guerra al narratore. Poco dopo però capimmo che era troppo scherzoso, troppo plateale rispetto ai toni del gioco. E poi qualcuno l'aveva interpretato come una presa in giro verso chi ama e gli spara tutto, cosa che non era nelle nostre intenzioni. Nice. Bella sta sezione comunque. Mail al narratore. Dopo l'uscita del secondo trailer abbiamo chiesto alla gente di mandare domande al narratore via email. All'inizio pensavamo di usare questo ulteriore materiale promozionale, ma alla fine non abbiamo trovato l'impiego perfetto. Ecco una soluzione di quelle mail.
Quante
Ok.
email? Quante email stupide saranno?
Che cosa carina.
Ma ripeto, questi giochi qua la gente si impegnano un fottio a farli, quindi ci sta anche.
L'ascensore Merci.
All'ascensore merci,
Non
forse.
so. Sì.
Non sono io che non c'ero arrivata, ti stavo solo ascoltando, allora ho detto, perché
In una versione precedente della scelta che porta al finale dell'appartamento, un timer dava 15 secondi per rispondere al telefono. Non rispondere avrebbe portato a un finale diverso. Ah, quindi c'è un'altra cosa che si può fare in teoria, perché si parla dell'appartamento ma non ci siamo mai stati nell'appartamento. Magari dopo guardiamo. Oh, mi sto perdendo, dove siamo? Mi sto perdendo. Ah no, ok, sono passata dall'altra parte.
Then he pushed the number 8. Stanley pushed the orange lever. Let's see. Stanley walked through the green door. This elevator for sure would get him right back on track to where he was supposed to be in the story.
Oh! Figo!
When Stanley came to...
Cioè, mi sta stannando abbastanza sto posto. Ammetto.
E ti stai perdendo forse le cose più divertenti del gioco, tra l'altro. Ci sono delle scene che sono da morire da ridere.
Qua dentro?
Nel gioco in generale, intendo.
Ah.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Ok, immagino che per continuare si vada lì. Ci sono anche altre stanze. Le cabine. Andiamo. Continuiamo il gioco, va.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose.
Non so se fare. No, però c'è solo di ricominciare il gioco da capo, ma vediamo. Oh! I died.
Did you die, Dad?
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought.
Huh.
How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Questo avevo visto che c'era un achievement di un numero di una porta, ma non so che cavolo dovrebbe essere. New content!
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game release.
Va bene così.
Ah! Che sono?
Oh! Ho messo tutti gli input. Ho messo tutti gli input dei computer.
Nice.
Ok, ritorno indietro. Sono confuso. Come esco da qua?
Haha. That's the good thing, you don't.
Un bottone a caso?
Sono confusa.
That's the funny thing. You don't...
Non esci da qua.
È ovvio che esci, era per fare una battuta.
Ma come cazzo faccio? No, sono confusa, no. Ma che cazzo si fa a uscire?
Boh,
Qualcuno mi dà una googolata.
viola. Ora cerco io. The Stanley Parable Lights.
Heaven? Cerca Heaven, perché era tipo Welcome to Heaven. Oppure... boh. Button Heaven, tipo.
Ok.
Giuro che sono confusa.
Puoi uscire da questo finale soltanto resettando il gioco tu stessa.
Ah,
It's one of those things.
non lo farò mai più.
A bit of bull, a bit
All
of
of his
shit,
co-workers
a
were
lot of
gone.
bullshit.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door and this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Non l'ho fatto qua. Però volevo vedere... volevo tornare dal
Stanley
telefono.
was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5
Anzi.
years ago.
C'è un'altra cosa. Pronti?
Let's
Oh,
go.
ciao Hexacon, stiamo per morire. Pronti?
Dai.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Thank you. No, però
Stanley had
non
never seen the
ironicamente.
office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Non ironicamente voglio ritornare là perché c'erano delle altre cose. C'era la cosa del telefono che volevo
When
rispondere.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Comunque sì,
and
sto
Stanley knew it
giocando per la
perfectly
prima
well.
volta,
Perhaps he wanted to
sono
stop by the employee lounge first, just to
abbastanza
admire it.
in hype. Sembra figo.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone
you
else can
not?
be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please,
Ma tipo se mi
stop
butto
trying to make every
sopra
decision by yourself. Now,
il
I'm not
corridoio.
asking for me, I'm asking for her.
You can certainly try.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem
Che c'è un
yourself.
corridoio e c'è
To
una
put
porta
your
aperta.
work aside.
Pensavo
To
stessi
let
per dire c'è
her
un
back
codechino.
into your life. She's been
Non so
waiting.
perché.
Mm?
Quando hai detto c'è un corridoio, pensavo stessi per dire c'è un codechino.
C'è un codechino, sì, ok, c'è un codechino. Oddio.
That's her, Stanley.
Ok,
You
ok.
need to be the one to...
When my brain goes to
Vediamo come
fuck.
va. Com'è questo
Cos'è
427, sempre quello.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right.
Non
Okay,
posso
there we
muovermi.
go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Non ho una moglie. Lo sapevo già. Ciao. Non ho moglie. Kinda disappointed, but...
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Oh!
Bastardo, ci ho creduto fino alla fine.
Buongiorno impiegato 427. Premi N sul dispositivo tastiera. M. No.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Prego, premi V.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
No.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
No. Vediamo se aspetto, succede qualcosa. No. Non penso.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Non voglio preparare la cena, ho già mangiato. Però non mi fa andare via. Signora.
I think you must.
Me la prepara lei. Uffa.
As he wandered through this fantasy
Mi
world,
scusi?
he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Raccontare una storia ai suoi figli.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over,
già, qua
wishing
c'era un
beyond
divano
hope that it
e la
would never
TV.
end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Diventa sempre più lurida. Non so cosa cazzo sto per dire.
Prego, premi G per dire a tua moglie che la ami. Senta, non siamo ancora a questo livello nella nostra relazione. Mi sembra un pochino troppo presto, stavo aspettando
Se
il
avete
quinto
dei figli.
figlio, perché,
Miss,
cioè,
you married her. E avete anche dei figli.
stavo aspettando il 18° figlio, dai. È
Beh,
una cosa molto,
Più
molto
mia madre
privata.
18, che cazzo.
Mi scusi, signora. Devo proprio. Mamma mia. Lo faccio solo perché è la festa della donna.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Premi C per andare a dormire.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Solo che non mi fa avanzare. Oh, sto premendo tutti i tasti a parte quello. Purtroppo dobbiamo premere K.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
Prego,
And I tried
muori.
again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Mi scusi? Ok, questa volta decisamente horror esistenziale. Questa volta collaboriamo con il
A soft
narratore.
wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Cerchiamo di collaborare col narratore sto giro. Che magari non è così antipatico.
Ma non è antipatico, fa il suo lavoro, sei te che ti ribelli.
Eh sì, e se mi dici di fare qualcosa, grazie al cazzo che non la faccio.
Ah.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Lo so, sono fatta così.
Da che pulpito?
Perché mi
Yet
hanno
there was not
cresciuto
a
così i
single
miei
person here
genitori.
either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad,
Wow.
Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Che surprise. Adoro.
Bla 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 secrets.
Adoro, adorissimo. Che ore sono comunque? Perché io sto andando dritta perché sto vibando col gioco, ma...
23:30.
Ok. What if... Mi dice
Whoops.
qualcosa?
Nope. Never mind.
Ah, no.
Stanley actually got back
Come
into the
prima.
elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Just can't wait to find out.
Stavo scherzando. Voglio tornare giù. Non mi fare andare fino là. L'ho già fatta sta cosa. Please.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat. Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Allora, adesso cerchiamo di collaborare.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Però sono confusa. Qua abbiamo già fatto quello che dovevamo fare. Però potevamo fare anche lo switch on. Quindi possiamo andare a vedere.
Sì.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought.
Vediamo se cambia qualcosa.
Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant
In che senso finale letterale?
Credo che questo sia il finale
This
ufficiale del
mind
gioco.
control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Premendo on sul macchinario
But
succede
here was the
qualcosa.
proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted? Control?
Oh, Gesù.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then?
Dimmi che si mi disinstalla il gioco.
2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
Non so dov'è il 4.
I have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich.
Sulle scale.
I just hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice? Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Ah. Pensavo mi chiudesse il gioco, sarò onesta.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Che cos'è che non abbiamo fatto? Hai saltato il 3? Sì, ho saltato il 3, ma... non era il 4 che ho saltato. Non lo so, ho saltato qualcosa, quello di sicuro. C'è qualcos'altro che possiamo fare? Tipo...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Quando la signora dice di salvarmi uscendo, si può provare? C'è qualcos'altro che non abbiamo fatto?
Person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door, just go.
Ok. Vediamo se riusciamo a trovare qualcosa di interessante.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
Se
Control
no,
Facility.
chiudiamo. Riproviamo qua
Although
magari.
this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Whee!
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Wah.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Farebbe molto più ridere.
No, perhaps not. Sometimes
È quello
these
che volevo
things
provare a
cannot be
fare.
seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this.
Escape. Torno al menu. Torno allo stop. E proviamo a rientrare adesso. Vediamo se cambia qualcosa. No. Cross. Mettiamo di sì. Aspetta, che stai facendo? Ho fatto un bel lavoro lì. Ma stavolta ho inserito semplicemente le 12, il valore predefinito. Non ci ho nemmeno provato. Devo dire che sono un po' deluso. Sto cercando di non arrabbiarmi. Sono contento che ne abbiamo parlato. Oh Gesù. Sorry.
This is the story.
No. No, non ha fatto niente.
All of his co-workers were
Allora
gone.
faccio l'ultimo
What could it
tentativo.
mean? Stanley
E
decided
volevo
to go to the
provare
meeting
a
room. Perhaps he had simply missed the
buttarmi
memo.
sopra la passerella, se riesco, nel percorso di destra.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it
So
perfectly
se mi
well.
sono spiegata.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business,
Poi
Stanley took the
effettivamente poi non ci
first
sono
open door
andata.
on his left.
Non ci sono andata poi. Oddio, c'è qualcosa qua? No. Voglio andare a vedere se riesco. Se mi
Stanley was so
schianto
bad
anche
at
qua.
following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ecco, quella passerella lì. Voglio provare a vedere se riesco a
Look, Stanley, I
andare.
think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful.
Ce l'ho fatta?
Let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
Ce l'ho
Give me a
fatta.
chance.
Ce l'ho fatta. Non ero sicura che funzionasse. No buckets past this point. Perché?
Non posso farti spoiler.
Now
Oh,
listen carefully, this is important.
oh.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Torno indietro. No, non posso.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood.
Oh.
Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Adoro, adoro, adoro tantissimo. C'è la porta blu dietro.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback.
Ci sta.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Please rate your experience.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Oh no. 4.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this. This whole third door thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party train rolling. Here,
Yes, you're
based on
into
the
it.
data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Oh, the Stanley Parable Worldwide Leaderboard. Wow. This is you. Hehe. Sono confusa. Only the worst you play choose a blue door. 88% a destra. Non c'è la vaniglia. Sto in crisi.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
Okay.
You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
No.
Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Okay.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the
Sì, no,
demands
io non so
of
se si
family
può far
life.
vedere sta
I
roba.
think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about
Io
4
non lo
hours.
farei.
So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Ok, non lo faremo vedere.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely
I'm
to
sorry.
spite me?
I'm
Because if it's the
sorry.
latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas.
Era un
I can't think
cartonato.
of a single
Non
thing
siamo
that might
d'accordo
improve
con
the
queste
experience for me.
ideologie.
I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's
Oh,
give it a
Gesù.
shot.
Oh,
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley.
Mi ricorda il
And it
gioco del
seems there's even
guardiacaccia.
more. Come, let's venture outward and see what
Penso
else
di
is
sì.
out there.
L'aveva fatto mio padre sto gioco. Non so se è questo
Firewatch,
questo.
è lui?
Non so
È
se è
lui?
questo il gioco però.
Fede, è lui. Il gioco è
Vabbè,
quello.
bene.
È una propria citazione. Nell'espansione originale, nel gioco originale non c'era però questa versione. E c'era Minecraft.
Oh, nice. Avranno fatto un cambiamento. Quella deluxe.
Oh no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly, block it off.
Oh no.
Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it.
I can see it.
Out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing. Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind.
It's what?
Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any
Rocket
possibility
League.
that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we
Siamo
must.
arrivati in un
Okay,
campo da
Stanley,
calcio.
here's the ball. Have fun.
Come siamo arrivati in Rocket League? Più che altro.
Rocket League.
Sono citazioni.
Ciao.
Hold on. What are you doing?
Ciao.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story
Oddio.
without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back. We still have so much.
È tutto buio. Oh Gesù. Dove cazzo sono? Emma.
Oh yes, no narrator. Fuck the narrator.
Sono confusa. Oh, c'è la luce. Anche qua ci sono le luci. $827. È la mia... il mio ufficio. Sono confusa. Oh.
wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it, down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
The end is loading. Io direi che questo è un ottimo momento. Wow. È stato molto interessante questo gioco. Probabilmente lo continuerò, non so se in live o meno. Magari cerco di beccare una guida senza spoiler che mi faccia vedere gli ultimi finali o qualcosa di particolare che non ho visto. Allora, ciao Sfinizi. Abbiamo fatto Stanley Parable, la versione deluxe, perché sono una persona expensive. E non ci avevo mai giocato prima e francamente mi è piaciuto un sacco. Ho fatto diversi finali, ho fatto un po' di giri per il gioco. E probabilmente mi cercherò tipo delle guide senza spoiler per fare quello che non ho ancora fatto, senza spoilerarmi troppo la cosa. E nada, direi che si è già fatto un po' tardino, quindi chiuderemo il gioco.
Mi sono ricordato che io domani devo lavorare. Bene, basta.
Ah sì?
Sì,
Bene.
devo andare. Nel senso non c'avevo
Allora,
non ci stavo pensando.
torniamo su Streamlabs. Allora, direi che bisogna fare i salutini finali e poi ci siamo. Vado a vedere intanto che voi salutate il programma per la settimana. Oh. Partita la musica. Voi non salutate?
Scusami, ero un attimo.
Siamo presenti.
Allora, cosa c'è nei prossimi giorni? Domani, cioè oggi, cioè giovedì, Delu fa appunto Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Se vuoi fare uno spieghino, presentare la cosa.
È il gioco di ruolo di Vampire the Masquerade, quello videogioco, e sto facendo la run Malkavian e è molto funny. Perché una delle ultime cose che è successo l'ultima volta che voi vi siete persi perché stavate andando a Roma è stato letteralmente il mio personaggio che litigava con un cabinato di un gioco arcade in una sala giochi.
Guarda, è in tema con stasera, è decisamente in tema con stasera.
È vero.
Oh, forse la chat è nascosta?
Mi sa di sì.
Ok, a posto. Scusate. Poi dopo, venerdì, Fillo che fa Half-Life. Che Fillo purtroppo è in shot, quindi non può dire niente, fortunatamente. Sto scherzando.
No, nel senso, hai detto purtroppo, fortunatamente.
Ho detto entrambi. E quindi... è apparso. Adoro.
Hai evocato l'essere.
Vuoi parlare di Black Mesa Half-Life
In
allora?
realtà no, non voglio parlarne, solo perché mi
Allora bene, allora
Comunque se
scialutine
ci gioco,
finale.
venitemi a far compagnia perché sono sempre da soli in quelle live, è triste.
Ok, intanto...
Non è vero,
Io sono triste.
Non è vero che
Nel
sei
senso che,
solo.
nel senso che provo
Non è vero
tristezza.
che... Non è vero che sei
Oddio.
triste perché lo dico io.
Com'era, le percosse continueranno finché la felicità non aumenterà.
Ah, c'è Reppe che sta facendo just chatting, va. Andiamo a
Just
salutarlo.
Chatting.
Ci metto un po' più del solito perché non sono... Right. Let's go.
Vabbè, intanto invece, ragazzi,
Buonasera a
mi sa
tutti.
che vado a dormire. Buonanotte.
Grazie per
Buonanotte.
essere rimasti fino adesso.
Notte. No.